So remember when people used to say liar, liar, pants on fire? Well, that line is in this movie. In this movie, I don't know about it. So guys, FireStarter, it's a live adaptation from the novel by Stephen King. So it's kind of like a soft horror, definitely soft thriller, suspenseful movie. Barely any scary at all. I mean, there's probably a little bit a degree to some people, because some people still might find this scary, but I feel like for the majority of the audience that go see scary movies, like this is like not even like scary. So we're gonna really talk about it. So Ryan Kiera Armstrong plays as Charlie McGee, which is a young girl in grade school who unfortunately gets bullied for being different. However, she does have the ability to about fire, to like shoot out fireballs, make things hot around her without her like being hot herself, but she doesn't know how to control it. Cindy Lemon plays as Mrs. McGee. She is the mother of the child and also the wife to Andy. Andy is played by Zac Efron, which is the father and the husband. Now, this is the reason why this movie got intrigued to me, because with Zac Efron, it's been a while since I've seen him. I loved him in Awkward Woman. I loved him in High School Musical. I do think he's a better actor now than what people give him credit to be. So that is like my main focus of the movie. I saw the Zac Efron father figure. I'm like, great, let's do this. However, the mother, she only has the powers of telekinesis, but she doesn't know how to use them. She only uses it one time when she gets attacked by this intruder that wants to take the daughter back to their facility, which more on that later. So the introduction to the movie, I thought it was great. But then after that, it kind of goes downhill from there, lol. So in the beginning, we're introduced to both the father and the husband. No, we're introduced to the wife and the father, which is the characters, Andy and Mrs. McGee. So they're being interviewed. It felt like mysterious, devilish, sinister, like people experimenting powers on them, injecting them into stuff when they're talking about like the producer who directed it, the cast. Like the first 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, this is something I can get behind. Like this looks good. This feels good. This looks a little bit like weird horror, like engaging, people trying to get special powers. I'm like, this looks good. But then the rest of the movie, I don't know. I wanted to like it more, but I just didn't. So Michael Gregory's, sorry if I'm not pronouncing that name right, plays as John Rainbird, who has been out the radar for a while and gets tasked to bring this daughter, this kid, Charlie McGee, to their facility so they can experiment on her. This happens because after an incident in school, the parents don't know whether they should have her suppress her powers or learn how to use her powers for other stuff. But however, we already see that Andy, which is played by Zac Efron, uses his powers for like therapy sessions, which is pretty cool, which more on that on the way. The wife doesn't even stick around. She only is there for the beginning of the movie to set up the rest of the movie. She is gone for 2/3 of the movie. Charlie and Andy head back to Boston after the attack at their home for the girl to like go back to the facility. It does not go well. So this movie is like a traveling father-daughter relationship between to go to Boston to get away from these people. Zac Efron's powers of pushing, I thought it was pretty cool because he's like, he gets into their heads. Like this is what he does first. Like every time he does a therapy session when there's only one, he like gets into their heads and he's like, oh, you're not a smoker, you shouldn't do this, like give me your gun. Like I love how he does that. However, it feels like to us every time he uses his powers, let's say in the beginning, like when he does the therapy session, I thought it was cool because his eyes get like a little bit red. I'm like, okay, cool, so that's like a risk reward. However, as the movie progresses, he does his cracking the neck thing. He's like this, like oh my gosh, like he does it like so like out of the place. He's like this, like really fast, and then he really uses his powers like full force. His eyes start getting watery red, and I thought that was like a really cool touch to his abilities, like risk reward. But that's like all the good things happen there. I mean, yeah, there's other good things which we'll talk about, but his powers are pretty good. I wish they would explore the mother's powers more, like telekinesis, but no, they don't. So Zac Efron's powers, yeah, the way he looks is great because he starts bleeding, he's like crying, and it's red, and it's like hurting him. The rest of the movie is like a father-daughter running away, like Joel and Ellie, but rather than Joel and Ellie, it's like their powers. She's trying to learn how to control them. Zac Efron's trying to teach her how to do it, but it's like they're running away, and we were going to Boston, but we don't even know why. At the runtime of only like 1 hour and 30 minutes, we don't really get time to really invest in these characters. Like, yeah, maybe the runtime a little bit more would have been like more interesting, but basically it's just like, here you go, and now you're done. I mean, I guess the book would be more, since the book is always better than the movies, but I love the connection in Charlie, because I can definitely feel it. Like he cries about her. I mean, yeah, it's obviously like one of the good parts of the connection. Like you have to show it on screen, but everything else is just like downright, I don't want to say like, it's kind of boring for the majority of the audience. I mean, look, I had fun because I'm always like a movie nerd. I love movies, but I feel like for most of you guys, I don't think you'll probably catch this at like streaming or when it go. I mean, it's on Peacock, but I went to the theaters. Like unless you have AMC A-List or Stubs or like Movie Pass, I don't think this movie would be worth your time. You could probably be like streaming, but I'm doing it because I like it. I like movies, but all of this, all the traveling, all the learning her powers, how to do it. The girl is cool, Charlie McGee, because during the rest of the movie, she inhabits the powers of her father as well as her mother's and contribute with the fire. So that was a pretty cool thing. Like she learns how to use her father's and mother's powers, including her fire thing. But all this leads to an unsatisfying third act where she goes to the facility, things happen, which I'm not gonna ruin it for you. But I'm like, that's it? Like we're talking about Stephen King, the guy, the masterpiece. Like we're talking about that. Like I'm not saying the book is bad because I've never read the book, but I'm saying like this is even from Blumhouse. Like come on, like usually they have a good track record. I mean, yeah, it's like 80% good and like 20% bad, but I don't know. I just thought based on the producers, based on Stephen King, like I thought there was gonna be more. Like I'm really glad that Zach Efron came back to like be in this, but I felt like the movie did not do him justice. Like, and this is no criticizing on like the girl too, like Armstrong. Like I'm not even gonna criticize child actors like that. That's weird. Like why would I do that? I mean, yeah, she looks cool, she looks scary a little bit, but not really that much. I don't know. I want to be critical, but like to be honest with you guys, you probably would be. I don't think you guys should be watching this in theaters. Like, yeah, maybe if you have A-list or you just want to, like me, but I feel like for the majority of the people, I feel like you should skip this. Like this should be like streaming movie, and that sounds really bad because then it's like I don't want to say that. I feel like if you like Stephen King, even if you read the book, this is interesting, but I don't think this is like, oh my gosh, I need to go to the theaters like right away to see it. I mean, like I said, I am because I have this YouTube channel and I definitely absolutely love movies. Like I'm in love with them, but I'm sorry, this is barely horror and barely suspenseful. I mean, I'm probably not the right audience. I don't know. The book is better, but honestly, guys, I'm gonna give Firestarter a D. If you made it this far, I appreciate you so much. Maybe consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video. And with that, take care. Liar, liar, pants on fire.